Hello Ospreys, my name is Tony. Every week I scour the indie game website itch.io and pick 5 games to play. This week I decided to go after role-playing games. After playing through them, I'll tell you which games you'll enjoy and which you should avoid. This is Game Jam. Tinderfoot Tactics is a game completely focused around exploration. Your main goal in the game is to level up your goblins through exploration and fights against a bunch of enemies. I really like the tactical RPG style of the game, as I think it really does the fights well with the simple ideas that lead to a lot of depth. Just adding the direction aspect to the end of each turn makes you think about where you place your people and where to face them at the end of each turn. Each loss is devastating to the battle, and every fight can be incredibly close if you aren't careful. But being too careful is also a flaw. It's like a game of goblin chess. I do wish the graphics were more defined. Like, don't get me wrong, I love low poly graphics, but it can be especially confusing to get around a game that's focused on landmark-based navigation when the landmarks are all low poly and hard to see. I do really love the map system though, where you have to pay attention to the maps and each map is different and have different direction of north and south and everything, and can be more detailed depending on the area and its purpose. It very much reminds me of Morrowind, which I imagine is what the game was going after. I would highly recommend this game. It's super fun and super tough. I really like it. Kirana Ramasuka is a game that shows how difficult game development can be. Don't get me wrong, this game is a prototype, so some bugs are expected, but I have never seen a game this buggy and unpolished. It's clear that this is the studio's first game, and I'm really proud of them for even trying, because game development is a hard business to get into, but this game is bad. Like, Sonic 06 bad. I definitely think this studio went way too ambitious for how much skill they have, especially as a first game, clearly. Making a game is hard, let alone a 3D stealth action game with the scope of a Tomb Raider or an Uncharted. The game clearly has greater aspirations that it isn't going to be able to meet. The main plague of new indie game studios is high scope. The idea that they can make a huge 3D game that is super tight and amazing when really they should just take 1 or 2 mechanics and systems and do them really well. I think this project should be abandoned before this game studio goes under and they can't release one finished game. Also, one more thing. Though this is a prototype, you can't release a game this early. First impressions of a game are extremely important, and if my first impression of your game is a bad, buggy mess that is funnier than it is fun, I'm likely never going to play that game again, even if it turns out to be an amazing game. I think this studio has potential, but I don't think they do with this project. Abandon this, make a much simpler, much quicker game that actually works when first released, then release probably 5 more games before even attempting this game again. I wish them the best of luck in the future, and for anyone left wondering if they should play this game, don't. This game is a surrealist RPG that reminds me a whole lot of Earthbound. I really like the art and vibe of this game, as I feel like there's a whole actual world underneath this game that I could spend time exploring. The combat is your usual affair of these games, turn-based, different classes and abilities, etc, etc. I really like the dark surrealist imagery as it implies something sinister is going on. I didn't really get far into it, but I will definitely play more, and I would recommend you play this one as well, as if you already like JRPGs, it's really good, and I really enjoy it. Bound by Blades is a pretty good game that is honestly kind of forgettable. I think the concept is pretty good, but I feel like it makes the game kind of limiting. The strategies that are opened by having the game have such a limited movement setup are nullified by how much the game loses. I also feel like the game is unnecessarily limiting itself for the sake of uniqueness, which I personally don't think worked. Though, the graphics are pretty cute and I really enjoy the charm of the game. To be honest, the game is cute, but short and boring, so I wouldn't really recommend it. Featherfoot is a Souls-like RPG that I really love. It's really charming and has that Souls-like vibe that I personally absolutely love. There are some flaws, like I feel like it can be hard to tell when your attacks are going to hit or when you're going to get hit, but overall I think the game is super cute and super fun. I don't really have a lot to say on this one. I played a lot of it, but it's pretty much the same all the way through, so I think that I would recommend it, especially for people like me who really like Souls-like games, but if you're not really into Dark Souls or anything else like that, then maybe skip this one. Otherwise, it's a definite play from me. Hey, thanks for watching, Ospreys. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram at UNF Spinnaker TV. Remember to stay safe and wear your mask.